Hello, my name is Thomas Argentine, and I'm a sophomore here at Purdue in construction engineering and management. And last summer, I got the opportunity to work with related companies out in San Francisco. And now some more on some projects I got to work on. So my projects, first on the far left, you'll see Mariposa. It's a 299 unit residential in South San Francisco, budgeted at around 127 million. I spent a lot of time on that one, so I'll go into that one a little later. And then next scene is the Avery. This was 548 units split between condos and apartments, also located right in San Francisco, and I spent a while on that one too, so I'm going to go into that one a little more as well. Next scene is the Paramount. This one I didn't do as much with, just went to weekly meetings for, seeing what they were doing with renovations and how they were doing that. So I'm not going to go into that one as much. And then last scene is Goodwill. This is actually something I'm going to work on much more next summer. So I'm going to learn a lot more about that one later, but that is split between residential, office space, and retail. And then some more on Mariposa. So first of all, something I wish I knew was what a takeoff was when I went to San Francisco, because I had no idea, and my first task on my first day, my boss said, I want you to do an extensive takeoff of all of the finishes for Mariposa. Picture rail, paint, carpet flooring, AquaSense flooring, countertops, backsplash, towel bars, faucets, everything. And I didn't even know what a takeoff was, so I probably looked pretty foolish on my first day, that is for sure. However, it was a great learning experience, and as you can see circled, I got to do some different things where I broke down the kitchen types and the bathroom types, since a lot of those were going to be repeated. And as seen in that last picture on this slide, there are 299 different units, but only 61 unit types. So I got to use some of my Engineering 131 Excel skills and use some if commands and some search functions, and ultimately take those 299 units and only have to do 61 of them and then have those expanded to all 299. So that saved me some time. And I got to use some skills I learned here at Purdue, so that was kind of neat. And it was nice to see at Mariposa this takeoff go into estimates, and then ultimately I went into calling subcontractors to receive bids, and as I was leaving, leveling bids, and actually selecting subcontractors. So it'll be neat to see when I go back how all of these takeoffs turned into actual expenses and real kitchens, and how that work was manifested. Next, I'm going to go into some about the sales center and the Avery. This is where I feel like I grew the most, the project where I was the most invested. At the Avery, I would mainly do pre-rock punch walks with Marcus, who's one of my supervisors. We would go on site and look and make sure strapping was correct, framing was correct, penetrations were properly fire caulked, look at the reflective ceiling pans and make sure lights and alarms and vents and everything were in the correct places. So that was a good experience getting to be very familiar with plans. And then now I'm going to go into the finished display boards. This was probably my favorite part, as this was kind of my project. It was about a 2 to 3 week little mini project I thought was just going to be a fun side project, but as you see, this is kind of all it was. It was really just some designs, and now I'm going to go into kind of why it ended up being my biggest test, really. Marcus, who was one of my supervisors, said it was going to be a microcosm of an entire project, since it had planning and it had scheduling and it had budgeting and all of these pieces coming together involving a lot of different people. I thought it was just going to be a fun side project, but he ended up being very right, because there was stone, which needed to be cut by a stone person, and mirrors, which needed to be cut by a glass person, and I needed to get a brass, which needed to be cut by someone else, and all of these pieces needed to come together in a short time, and I needed to collect them and distribute them out, and then recollect them, and then take them down to the sign company, and then make some design decisions about it. And as you can see in that top picture, where to hang them on the wall and some different artistic decisions. So for instance, this project came with its own challenges like a real project would, and its own setbacks, as when I gave the stone company all of the stone, they ended up misreading the design plans and cut everything to 11 inches instead of a foot and 11 inches. So that was obviously unusable, and then I had to scramble and get more stone and get it back to them and go back down to the sign company and relay everything out. So it came with its own its own long days and scrambling and problem solving. So that was a really good experience, and I feel like I really learned a lot from that, and I grew a lot from that. And it was neat to see all of those challenges come together, and then ultimately be hanging on the wall of the sales center right now. So that was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot. And I'm excited to apply those skills into my next internship next summer at Related. Thank you very much.